Welcome to When We're Not Hustling, a podcast where sex workers talk about everything but. I'm your host, Jessie Sage.
Put away the lingerie. I want to know you. Tell me more. I don't care about the news. I want to hear about you and see the world from your point of view. The coffee's already made, so I'll part the shades, just pull up a chair and tell me more.
When We're Not Hustling is a weekly podcast that explores the lives and identities of sex workers outside of our work personas, our personal philosophies, ambitions, families, relationships, passions, spirituality, and so much more. We talk about our lives beyond the job, asking, what does the flexibility of sex work allow us to do, and who does it allow us to be? On this show, we learn who sex workers are outside of the work we're known for. When We're Not Hustling is an exploration of the people behind the fantasies. When We're Not Hustling is brought to you by Assembly 4. Assembly 4 is a collective of sex workers and technologists working to bring the overall cost of sex work down through their advertising platform, Tryst.link. They also educate clients through the Good Client Guide and provide resources and articles written by and for sex workers. Assembly 4 caters to all genders and demographics and raises funds to fight for sex worker rights and against exploitation in the sex industry. Learn more at assembly4.com. ASSEMBLYFOUR.com. Hi, this is Jessie Sage. This is episode number 17. We are wrapping up the season pretty soon. This has been so amazing. We already have 7 or 8 guests booked for season 2, so I'm really excited about everyone that's going to be there for that. But I just want to take a moment and thank everybody for joining us in this baby podcast and giving us so much love and input. And the guests have just been amazing, and I couldn't ask for anything more. This has been a real passion project for me and for Emily, the producer, too, to think about how we can frame the lives of sex workers in a way that shows us in our fullness, but doesn't take away from the important and amazing work that we're doing in sex work as well. So thank you everyone for being here with us for this. In terms of a couple of announcements, let's see. I just got back from New York. I was there for 5 days and 4 nights, and that was a beautiful and exhausting and wonderful trip. We've talked about this on the show before, but I was there for the book launch of The Holy Hour, an anthology of sex work, magic, and the divine, which you can buy on workinggirlspress.com in paperback and also in a digital form. I suggest you buy the paper book because when I saw the book, I was so impressed. It is so beautiful. The paper is so nice. There's art in it. I don't think that you can get the same experience with the digital book, but I'm kind of biased that way. I like real books. I like the smell of books. I like the feel of books in my hand. So I would suggest you go and buy it. We had a really great event. It was at the Bowery Poetry Club. Some of the guests on the show were there. I was there. I got on stage and read from my chapter that I wrote for the book, which is called The Altar of Ecstasy is the name of the chapter. Yeah, so that was a really good experience. I had people who listened to the show and people who've been longtime supporters and fans of mine come up and introduce themselves to me there. And that was so wonderful. I can't really explain what it's like to do this kind of work, especially in my writing and podcasting, where I just sit by myself, especially in writing, I should say. In writing, I spend long periods of time by myself with my own thoughts, and then I put them out into the world. And I have very little knowledge or understanding of the impact that they have because I just kind of release them and then I go on and move to the next thing. And so there was something that was really cool about seeing that some of that had impact and that you guys have read my work. And so thank you. Thank you for everyone who supported me because it was really meaningful to me to see that. Let's see what else is going on. Speaking of writing, I don't know if I plug this very often, but I write a weekly sex column for the Pittsburgh City paper called Pillow Talk with Jessie Sage. you should go check it out. It's at pghcitypaper.com, or you could just Google search Pillow Talk with Jessie Sage and it will pop up. I also put it on my socials. My Twitter is sapiotextual. And then there's this show, and that's all I have going on right now. I'm doing some summer traveling. I may be in New York when this airs. I'm going to New York City again. I'm going to Buffalo. I'm doing a couple of different trips. So that's fun for me. Let's see. Do I have anything else to tell you about? I really don't think so. I'm excited today because our episode is with BodyxBlunts. I have had BodyxBlunts on my different shows that I've had, and it's always a pleasure to speak with them. This time we're talking about singing, and I actually didn't know that they were a singer until recently, and that was really fun. It's fun to find out something new about somebody when you've talked to them in different contexts. So they will be talking about singing. They're also going to be talking about having a double mastectomy and what that has meant for their work and their gender identity and other things. And so that's also a very interesting conversation, particularly since their sex work platform has been largely about body positivity. So what does that mean when you have to change your relationship to your body? By way of introduction, BodyxBlunts is an artist, video creator, and advocate. They have been featured in HBO's Pause with Sam J and in Hustler magazine. Their journey in art and adult entertainment is fueled by creativity, resilience, and advocacy. Since 2017, they embraced OnlyFans to champion body positivity and self-expression. Under Media by Blunts, that's Media X Blunts, they explore illustration and graphic design, committed to social justice and community empowerment. So let's turn to our interview with BodyxBlunts. Hi, Body. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you again. So what have you been up to? What's been going on in your life?
Honestly, just a whirlwind of things. Last year, 2023 was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I found out I had a 47% chance of getting breast cancer. So I decided to nip that in the bud.
Oh my gosh. From the genetic testing?
47% chance of getting it.
Wow.
And that's a
Are there
gamble.
people in your family that have breast cancer? Okay.
But I found out late because I'm estranged from most of them, and I'm just getting reconnected with some of them on my dad's side.
Okay.
So I have very few blood family, quote unquote, to actually be able to talk to. And he's the only one at this point.
Okay.
Because my granny's technically my step granny, but we don't call her that. She's just granny.
Okay. So you had a double mastectomy?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a hard, I think you might be the only person I know who did it like that from the genetic testing. Is that hard to get them to do it? And I asked, no. Okay.
No, once you have the proof there, my oncologist it made the process, that part of it easy. The hard part about it is the mental part.
Yeah.
It's and especially with this work, I was like, my entire job, the way I work, how I'm going to work, how much I'm going to be able to work, who I can see, advertise, I'm going to have to completely rebrand during and after.
Yeah.
And it's a part of my body I was fond of. So I didn't want to get rid of it. It wasn't gender affirming, and that would have been a cheaper surgery. Actually, it would have been less expensive to do that. And even another doctor, I talked to an OB at first when I first got my genetic testing, and I was like, well, how do I make the percentage go down to 0? And she's like, well, there's not really a way. And I was like, well, what if I got rid of all the breast tissue? She's like, that's extreme. And I'm like, I didn't ask you if it was extreme. I asked how to get down to 0.
Yeah.
And so I just went, I've already had a lumpectomy at that point. I had one in 2020. Yeah. Okay. It was rather large. So I went back to the same oncologist and I was like, hey, and she's like, okay, let's do some more stuff. And she did some more testing and she's like, look, you're going to have to pay for breast MRIs twice a year, which are about $2,500 a piece with insurance.
Oh my gosh. That $5,000 a lot. $5,000 a year is a lot to dump.
A lot of money. And I already spend about $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
Because I have other disabilities.
Right.
So I'm already like, what the fuck? She's like, you're going to have to get breast MRIs because you have fibrous breast and we're going to miss something. And because of their size, they removed 8 pounds of tissue.
Wow.
Which
yeah, I
doesn't sound like a lot because
you.
we think we have like very large breasts and like they weigh a lot. They don't weigh as much as we think they do, but
Mhm.
8 is a lot.
Yeah,
8 is a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. I remember your very sexy pictures in Alex's calendar, and you did have nice breasts.
I do. I did. I got into Hustler June of last year. I'm in the June issue. That's the last pictures, professional pictures of my tits.
Oh,
But at least it's in Hustler.
Did you know did you know that was coming?
No.
Oh,
I
so you
didn't know
must
at
be
that point.
stoked that you did that.
Yeah, that it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
That's nice. Like, it feels so funny because it's like, yes, it's part of my work, but it was just like something that I liked the way my body was shaped. I was finally feeling euphoric. Like, as a trans person, you spend so much time like dealing with your body and talking about your body and having multiple conversations about your body with people that you don't know, with people that you want to have sex with people that you want to date.
Right.
Like, you're constantly having these conversations about your body. And I was finally getting to a place where I was like, I feel affirmed about what I would like to call my genitals. I feel affirmed about where I'm at right now. I feel affirmed that I can't get these surgeries that I would theoretically want to make me have the ideal whatever, but I'm feeling comfortable. And then this came along and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Not what I wanted.
So what has that been like for you? What has that like, I want to say like transition or like period after the surgery felt like for you? And how are you going to rebrand? Have you been able to think about that yet?
Yeah, I've been doing nothing but thinking about it because I have so much time. Like, recovery is just like, because you can't lift a bunch of things, like all of like the things that you don't even think about, like opening up jars. I like hurt the top of my chest because I was opening up a moisturizer.
Wow.
That was a little too tight.
A moisturizer, not like pickle.
A moisturizer.
Yeah. So, do you think you're going to like incorporate that into the brand or like, how are you going to do?
Well, I know for sure at this point because we didn't do nipple sparing. Your nipples, your ducts, if you do have any cancer cells or cancerous bodies in your body, especially in your breast, the nipple is where it's going to be the most.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah.
So sparing them means that you're putting yourself at a higher risk of possibly breast cancer coming back. So no nipples. So the next time, so when I get my reconstruction, I'm not having them put on nipples.
Okay.
I'm not having them manufacture a nipple.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to have nipples. I don't even plan to get them tattooed on.
Okay. Yeah.
And I feel like that's my exchange of like euphoria. So I can still feel like myself.
Yeah.
Again, you know?
Yeah. So the process is pretty long though, isn't it? Of like reconstruction, you have to do expanders and how does it work?
It's 2 surgeries. So because it's after the fact, I want to do it at the same time, but there was a complication with the first plastic surgeon and they were not communicating well to me or the oncologist office. They were honestly dipping and dodging us.
Really?
And by the time that
you didn't like wake up from surgery and they said, "Oh, we didn't do it," did you?
It was worse. It was 3 weeks before, so not enough time to find a new one.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, "Oh, we just don't feel comfortable doing it." After they'd not talked to us or communicated with us or anything, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
They're like, "We need more. We need like." Basically, they wanted me to be in a certain stage of cancer before they actually did it, and they're like, "That's insane." Because that's not how it works. That's not how medical coding works at all.
Right.
So I had to pursue it after the fact, which is a pain in the ass, but I've already had the first surgery. Insurance covers all of this shit. So like he didn't want to do the legwork of writing to the insurance company.
Oh my gosh.
And doing the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because the plastic surgeons who aren't like necessarily like reconstructive surgeons are like, this is a cash business. We want to just do cash. Yeah.
He is one. He just I guess he hadn't worked with them in a while because they worked together before in the past. And it was weird that he just didn't want to do it for this. Like it just
that's really
didn't make
weird.
sense. And I'm like, no, you just don't like me, dude. You just don't want to do it on me. There's something about me that you don't like. I don't know what it is. I'm not here to investigate that or interrogate it, but like you don't fucking like me and you probably should have told me that. I don't know, 5 months ago when we contacted you.
Right.
And not 3 weeks before surgery.
Yeah. Gosh, that's rough. Yeah. Yeah. Insanity. I mean, it's interesting because like they were talking about all of this because, and I think we've had this conversation before when we did the roundtable, but when my partner who used to do porn with me, like had cancer, testicular cancer, and then had like all of the treatment for that. That changed their body, and they went through, and they could no longer like ejaculate. And so we tried to, I mean, this is different but similar. We tried to get back into like clip making and stuff, and people would be like, where's the cream pies? Where's the money shots? Where's all this stuff? And we're like, we would have to totally, like, they just got out of doing erotic content altogether because they were like, I would have to turn this into like a project where like the whole brand was about a post-cancer body. And they were like, I don't know if I want to take that on. Like I could if I didn't have, another other things that I need to be doing. But they came to this space where they were like, this then my brand then needs to turn into this. And they just didn't have the energy to do that.
But it's a lot because even with me, like, no, I'm not going to have nipples, but it's like, okay, well, how am I going to explain that? And I was like, well, in the past, I've been advertising as a woman. And I've always advertised as a woman because safety and because no one believes that I'm trans, even when I tell them. So now I'm like, well, fuck this. And especially after what I've seen, like, I went to the AVNs and I noticed the lack of representation for trans performers. I noticed lack of representation and care for trans performers. And in that moment, I'm like, I'm lumped in with these cis people and I'm the one who would get more attention because I advertise as a woman, but I'm not actually a woman. And it felt like I was being disingenuous because at this point, I've done enough interviews or press where people know that I'm not cis.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, I need to give up the ghost on this.
Yeah.
And because my decision making about not having nipples is because of that and not necessarily because of cancer or possible cancer. And so I'm going to lean that way. Now, if somebody asks me and they're like, hey, why do you have fake boobies? And I'm like, well, because my old boobies were trash and we had to get new boobies. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
But like, I see other disabled creators have that same problem that your partner was having is that, well, fuck, I have to make my whole brand around this because I'm in a wheelchair, or like I have to make my whole brand around this because I'm an amputee. And it's like, well, fuck it, because the most personal parts about ourselves, we don't want to give that to them because we see what they do to things that are less personal to us.
Right.
And they take it and they run with it and they bastardize it and they turn it into something that disgusts us at the end of the day. And people wonder why, like, but like we don't like clients or we don't like customers, we don't like followers. And it's not about us not liking them. It's that they like to use things that they know could be personal.
Right.
To change into something that fits for them, even though it was not made to necessarily do that.
That's been so interesting to me, like working in this industry for 10 years. And it's the way that people interact with my body as if it's like not attached to me, as if it's not me, and talk about it and critique it. And some of that has felt very affirming and good. And some of it has felt very bad. And I think that, I noticed that over the years, I got so like used to it that I in some ways just kind of detached, like that's a thing that people just do and it kind of bounces off me. But you have to do that because otherwise you can't really like survive the amount of scrutiny that you get. And even people who like really like like the biggest thing for me that I noticed is like as a plus size person, even people who like love your body, like project onto you, because a lot of men really love bigger women.
They do.
But they don't think they're supposed to. So they project all of this like shame onto you about it. And you're like, dude, I'm just here like fulfilling your fantasy. Like, why do I have to talk you through like give you permission to like me? Like, I already know that. You're dropping a bunch of money for me to be.
Like I'm not unaware. But it's the crass detail of how they like, and I'm like, you're not a poet laureate, and we know this. So trying to get somebody to stop without throwing off everything, because like that's the delicate balance. Like you see larger companies like Pepsi or Popeyes or, and they can kind of talk shit a little bit to their customer base if they get out of pocket. They're like, hey, or Domino's, we're just going to stop sending you pizza, and the whole world will start dunking on them. We'll get ratioed really fast, you know? But with us, if someone says something to me out of pocket, because I hear the fucking craziest shit.
Yeah, right.
And it's from anything from like what fold they want to put something in, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was doing a duo with another. She's not, I wouldn't even say she's plus size. She's like mid-size, you know, the other person. And it was for a person who wasn't very experienced and he was trying to get some experience. And we asked him like, oh, what made you reach out to us? And his answer was, well, I don't have much experience. And I thought if I could manage this with 2 fat people, I could fuck anyone. Excuse me? And then, but you're in the middle of something and you have to be like composed. And
exactly.
Be
like they say the most heinous shit. And you're just like, babe, that's so great.
Oh, that's good. I hope you have exactly what you want.
Are you having a good time, babe?
It's those moments when you realize it's a customer service job and you're like,
it is.
Oh man. Yeah.
It is, because like, my favorite, especially among other Black providers, that we all hear the same thing, and I swear I know why. I don't want to think about too hard, but like we get a lot of, you look like a babysitter I once had when I was growing up, and it's always from a baby boomer age man. So he's talking about Jim Crow civil rights era babysitter time, where he couldn't look at or lust towards this person because it was against the law. But now it's no longer against the law. So he's going to get his taboo like gets, and it's like, shut up.
Please don't say that. Please don't say that.
Shut the fuck up. Don't say that to anyone, not even your therapist. Like, they don't need to know this. Keep that to yourself.
Right. Some confessions we just don't need.
It's like, did you think this was going to get me wet? You said it and you're like, yes, surely, gushing, squirting, shaking, crying.
Yeah, it's a customer service job. Okay, so we're moving outside of the job. I want to hear what else you're doing, because you said you are a performer and I didn't know that side of you. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I am a performer and I also own a drag show here in Denton, this show, Glitter Bomb.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
You can find us on all the Instagram and Facebook.
Glitter Bomb, B-O-M-B?
B-U-M-B, okay. Glitter Bomb. And I perform as a drag performer and I strip. I specifically say stripper and not burlesque because I feel like I want to honor that part of me that is not, because there's a lot of nouveau classical burlesque and it's that same thing of it's stripping but classy, and I want to stay far away from that as possible. I don't want anyone to accuse any of my acts of being classy, so
fuck respectability.
So I lean into filth.
Nice.
I have a couple acts where I bring out a trifold bed.
Oh, what do you do?
Oh, everything.
Okay.
I taught them tipping culture at this particular show before I took it over when I was still a performer for the show. Where I was. Were
you ever a stripper in past lives? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've never done, but I'm not a performer, so.
It's all right. I think it's all right. Honestly, I'm thinking about going back to it post-surgery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was good at it. I'm good at it.
Yeah. But anyone who has like that performer flair, I think, would be good.
So these motherfuckers, prior to me telling them, told their audiences to crumble up the dollar bills and pitch them and throw them.
There's a strip club in Pittsburgh that does that, and I hate that. That makes me so uncomfortable. I
told them, I was like, the thing that you're asking them to do is actually an insult.
Yeah.
Men at strip clubs, especially small town strip clubs, like the ones I've worked at, the little itty bitty ones, if they throw the dollars at you, it means they think you're ugly.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. At the place here, they have to do that because they have like the stage and then they have the bar like around the stage. So you can't so you have to like throw them over the bar to get them to the dancers. But that feels gross to me. I don't know.
It is gross. And I'll tell you how I fixed that problem too.
Yeah.
Like they were pitching these fucking dollars and I was like, when the first time I performed with them, I was not ready for how it would feel.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a good job. So there was just money hitting me like in places. It didn't feel good. It felt the opposite of good. And I told them about it. I was like, you need to, and they're like, well, the audience is so, like far back, and there's some people who can't reach. And I'm like, I don't care. They need to walk their happy ass up there and put the dollar on the stage. They can do that. They can pass it up to the front and hope that nobody steals and they can use the honor system. But I don't want to have dollars thrown at me because it is an insult. And so I got them to stop fucking doing that. But when I became the owner, I implemented something called Money Honeys.
Ooh, and like bunnies?
Kind of.
Okay.
So like I have 5 performers a show. So each show, I have a company of 50. So 5 of them per show. And then 2 of them are understudies. Understudies performers get paid the same.
Okay.
And so the understudies work in the house with buckets, with the silver strip club buckets, and get the dollars that the performers might have missed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or that maybe an audience member doesn't feel comfortable enough to tip them, or, whatever the case may be. So they can get all of their tips and not have to worry about while they're dancing or doing their act, that they have to collect them too.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll do that. We're going to give more people more opportunities to make money and pay an understudy. And also I have an understudy on deck if somebody drops out.
That's good. That's a good idea. Yeah. So how do you, this is going to sound like a dumb question, I think, but I don't know how these things work. How do you fund, like, how do you get the money to pay all of the performers? Because it seems like that's a issue, at least here in the burlesque community. Like there's just not being enough money to.
Well, maybe they should be hookers.
Yeah. That's the best answer, actually. That's the problem with them, is that none of them are doing that.
Yeah, because it's like you have to decide to fund it, because when I took it over, it had $0. And they're like, would you be able to? And I was like, yeah. And so I figured out payroll for everybody. Yeah. Like it's basically like what strip clubs do, except not exploitative. So everyone gets paid. Plus they get to keep all of their own tips. Yeah. I have somebody who's a house manager. I have stage managers. I have stage kittens, which are basically prop masters, if you're familiar with theater. So basically they're going to pick up things that are off stage and place things on stage. I have an ASL interpreter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Every show. Her name is Danger. She is the shit.
That's so cool.
She's the shit. Oh my God. She's so good.
I had this idea the other day. I don't know where it came from, but I told PJ, I was like, I want to learn how to do ASL because it's so beautiful. Like I love watching interpreters, even though I don't know it. Yeah.
She's like we go through a whole production week. Music is due Sunday night at midnight.
How often do you have performances? How often do you have performances?
Every week, honey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've had busy. Oh, I'm busy. We're in the middle of production week. This week's show is, I should know this. My brain is like, it's Groove Queens and Bass Beauties. It's an EDM themed show.
Wow.
I also do all the posters for our shows.
You need some help.
I need graphic designer money.
Yeah. You can put that out. If there's any listeners who want to donate their graphic design, like
donate, please. Donate again.
Yeah. Wow.
This is paid for by my body parts. So I just want the show to turn over each week. So basically it just has to do that. I'm not looking to make a profit off of it. I use it as a community space more than anything. So I have the Dallas anti-war group that comes there every single show to talk about ways that people can get involved about freeing Palestine and all the protests that are happening. Yeah. I have my Denton County Health, our health department here, who comes and brings prophylactics, barriers, testing kits that you can take home. Even if you don't live in Denton, they will still help you. If you're paused for something, they will give you medication for it.
That's amazing. Do they do testing there ever?
They do. They do testing there on site.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. So tell me about your performance background and what you do.
I started doing theater out of my mother was a terrible mother, and she believed in drinking more than she believed in taking care of her children. So when it was
time to be picked up, how many are there of you?
3 of hers. Okay. Yeah. And then 4 on my dad's side.
Okay.
Yeah, but none of them I'm in contact with. So like,
okay.
That's how good of parents they are.
Yeah. yeah.
But like, I started doing theater because she would always pick me up late
And
in high
that you could
school.
go there. Yeah.
It was something to do because I was just sitting out in front of the school and they were like doing stuff. And I'm like, I want to do something and not just sit here. Also, I have to pee. So like I started doing it then and I dove right into it and I loved it. I loved the performing part. I loved being somebody else for a minute.
Yeah.
And though I didn't get cast in high school because I live in Texas, the professor, the teacher, he was not into the idea of me being in anything. He said that the stage pictures didn't look right because of my height and how I looked.
Oh my God. Yeah.
With his chest.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck him,
yeah,
honestly.
That's terrible. Yeah. How tall are you?
6'1".
Oh, you're tall.
Yeah, I'm very tall.
Yeah, but you should still be in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's high school. yeah. I'm like, are you worried you're not going to get a BAFTA? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. right.
It's a high school show. Taking it so goddamn seriously, your stage pictures won't look right.
Yeah.
Who is coming to this?
Yeah.
Broadway.com?
No, it's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. Yeah. Right.
Like,
yeah.
There was gatekeeping for absolutely no reason.
Right.
It didn't need to happen. But I still loved it anyway. I'm like, I don't need you to tell me how I need to like something. And I ended up doing backstage work, designing posters, stage managing, doing lighting, sewing costumes because I know how to sew. I've been sewing for a long time since I was like 5.
Oh, so, wow. Who taught you how to sew?
Oh, my mother did briefly, and then PBS got me the rest of the way.
Wow. That's cool. My grandmother tried to teach me how to sew when I was like a little kid. And I think we made a dress together, but it wasn't like I didn't keep it going. But I remember going through that process with her and it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at my sewing machine right now.
So do you make your costumes?
Some of them I will alterate or like add things onto, but because of my size and because of my limited time, usually I'll end up buying. But there are so many, like you can throw a rock in my town and hit like 3 costumers.
Oh, wow.
That do drag and performance costumes.
Yeah.
Like one of them, Luana Valdez, she makes some of the most beautiful things you've ever seen in your life. She also does wigs, and the wigs are like just amazingly styled. Who's the other one? Graves. What is their first name? Jackie O'Nasty Graves. She makes, I love her last names. Her last name is a house name, Graves, but she's Jackie O'Nasty Graves.
That's cute.
And she's fucking great. She does oh my God, she does this egg number. Where she's a chicken. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
Oh my God. But she is an amazing seamstress, amazing costumer.
Yeah.
So fucking talented. And Lola Lovebug, who's part of my cast. I love me some Lovebug. Lovebug, Colombian beauty, drag queen, can Vogue the house down like Jesus Christ, the bitch can turn a party. And is an amazing costumer and makes beautiful fucking wigs.
Wow.
Just like the talent that's just in my sector of DFW it's really fucking talented.
Yeah. So you started off in high school and you said that you sing though too, huh? How'd you start singing?
But that took way longer, way longer. I was told as a kid that I wasn't allowed to because I wasn't good at it. So I didn't. And I think it was, what year did I start going there? 2011, maybe. I started going to this karaoke bar. Because it was one of my friends' birthdays or something. And I'd never done karaoke before, ever. And I was like, And the first time I did it, it was not good. I was this far away from the microphone. I was like 6 feet away from it. My voice was shaking so bad because that was the experience I ever had singing in front of people was my voice would just start shaking so badly that you couldn't understand me. My hands would start shaking I couldn't stop it no matter how much I tried to calm my breathing. It just was not going to happen. And so it started off kind of toxic where I needed to drink a little whiskey to be able to sing. And then I was able to do it without it. And then I was able to do it outside of the bar. And then I was able to do it, in front of people by myself. I thought I could only do it in certain aspects or, that kind of thing. And it took me a while to feel comfortable enough to like sing a cappella. And I was like, can I do that? And I was like, yes, you can. You can do that.
Yeah. What's that journey been like for you?
Honestly, it's been really affirming more than anything else, because you hear something your whole life. Someone told me my whole life that I couldn't sing. Yeah. I wasn't allowed to sing because it was so bad. And I believed her. Believed her. But it wasn't true. And there were so many other things about what she was saying that weren't true either. And then some of them I hadn't explored yet, but it gave me an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. To kind of undo even more than just that.
Yeah. Drawing is another one of those things. We didn't have art in our house and we weren't allowed to do it. And I was like, well, I can't draw. Like, that's not a thing. Yeah. And we were locked inside during the pandemic. I started sketching because I was so scared to sketch in the sketchbooks that I had. I used them mostly for like grander or larger ideas. Yeah. And I actually started sketching and it wasn't bad. And then I started doing it every day. It was every day for about like 90 days. And I eventually got an iPad and got and used the iPad without the pencil for about 2 months, 3 months. And then I ended up getting the pencil. And now I use that thing every single day. Yeah. Is drawing cathartic for you? Yeah. More so than I thought it would be, for sure. Yeah. That's something I've never explored. I've never tried to draw because I have it in my head too that I don't know how to do it, but I'm not a super visual person. That's fair. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, it's the style of drawing. And maybe it's like the style I've been trying was not a beginner style. And I was really just like hurting my own feelings by trying to like do it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And I needed to allow myself more grace to mess up and try other things first. Yeah. So what kind of songs do you like to sing? Like, what's your style? I really like alternative rock songs, but I can sing any genre. So whatever the show calls for is what I'm going to typically find. So you do like stripping / burlesque performances and singing and drag as well. Like, what's your favorite thing to do? Thank you for listening to When We're Not Hustling. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Doing so will help other people find us. And if you're a sex worker who wants to come on the show and talk about your life outside of work, we would love to have you. Please send an email with more information to nothustlingpod@proton.me. When I can strip and sing at the same time. That's hard. That's hard, isn't it? Or yes and no. It's kind of one of those things, like if you have a roadmap, you know where you're going. Yeah. So it feels less scary because you know where you're going. Right. Yeah. When are you going to be done with like your reconstruction? Do you have that planned out? I'm waiting. We should be hearing this week or next week, probably. From them on what insurance has to say about how much it's going to cost me for the first surgery. That is putting in the expanders. Yeah. And he said I'll be down for about 10 days. Okay. So that's not terrible compared to how much I was down for the mastectomy. Yeah. And I'll have drains again, which suck. I hate those damn drains. Yeah. But like, whatever, fine. Yeah. I had implants and I didn't get drains for those, but I know a lot of people do. So I think it just depends on like the technique. Yeah, it's the tissue. Surgeons do. Yeah. Yeah. And because I have like nothing, there is no breast tissue here at all. I'm going to have drains. Yeah. They took my breast tissue out, but they took it out because I had tubular breasts and they were like, the tissue is constricted and it's going to look like it's sitting on top of the implants. And so like, we're going to have to take all of that out. And so I have my nipples, but I don't have like my original breast tissue. But at first I was like, no, it doesn't matter because it made the bill so much more expensive. I was like, because then they have to do like this additional like surgery that included kind of not
as formalized, but like expanding it, because if you have tubular breasts, you don't have like they're like more cone shaped and not like round. So then they have to like create pockets and expand all of that. But like, I was like, no, you don't have to do that, because I didn't want to spend another $5,000. And they're like, no, you really want to do that. Otherwise it's going to look really weird. I was like, okay, fine. All right, fine. But my surgeon was like this plastic surgeon who was Russian. And like, I called her the like surgery dom, because that's how she like came across. She was like so harsh, but in this way that like, you were like, okay, you seem to know what you're talking about. It's fine. I'll just do whatever you say. She was like, I will not do that. And I was like, okay.
Okay, girl.
All right. We'll do what you want. It's fine. We'll do
whatever you want. Yeah. Whatever you would like.
It's my body, but that's fine. You seem to have a strong opinion. So like, okay.
Yes. Yeah, he gave me 2 options, but like I've been losing some weight lately. So the other option, which I didn't get from the first plastic surgeon, by the way, he said he could either basically take the fat from my stomach area and do like basically a tummy tuck.
Yeah.
And take that fat and put it there. And then I could have natural fat and not have implants, or he could just do implants.
Yeah.
And I was like, implants.
Yeah, because I got that option too, and I like the idea of getting rid of some of my fat or moving it around. But the problem is, I think they say that they don't, like, if you lose weight, you lose them too.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And I was like, no.
Yeah. Why go through all of that for boobs that are gonna like disappear?
Yeah. Like they gave me a new medication because, like, I have IIH and whatnot. Intracranial idiopathic hypertension, for those at home who want to get a Google, or pseudotumors. And you have no pituitary gland if you have all the markers for IIH, which means that some things, like hormonally, doesn't absorb, including food and nutrition. And mine wasn't really doing that. It was like sitting in one place, but not actually giving me energy or power or the nutrients I was supposed to be having. So my metabolism was not functioning at all. And they put me on a new medication. And then it just
started
it just started working. I haven't changed the way I was eating. I haven't changed any of my activity. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was pretty active before. It's not like I wasn't doing anything at home and wasn't eating fairly clean.
Right.
It's like I eat pretty fucking clean.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part of running a drag troupe like that?
Honestly, the crew. I love my crew.
Yeah.
And like, they're the ones that I work with every single week. I have the blessing of having one of my best friends as a stage manager. And like, she's like family. Like, I would not be able to do the show every week without Minnie. Like, there's no way I would be able to get it done without her. And it's so wonderful to work with her because she's so talented in other places. It's like, I feel like I can't pay her enough. Like, she's a contractor and she also knows how to make blueprints for
oh my gosh,
anything.
cool.
Yeah, she's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
She's a fucking genius. And she's my stage manager for a drag show. I feel like I'm asking her to do like, it's like, oh my God, this bitch is too smart. Like, I'm asking her to do like this really basic, simple bullshit. And I'm not paying her enough for her time.
There's so many incredibly talented people like in our spaces, though. I'm like always awed by all of the things that including you, by all of the things that people are doing. I'm like, how are people doing such cool things? Yeah.
We try our very best.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were going to ask me to sing this morning or not. And I was like,
oh, I didn't think of putting you on the spot like that, but I could.
It's not putting on the spot, because when you tell people you can sing, you have to do something
I would love to hear you sing.
Okay, let me do, as I take one ear off my headphones. Let's see. I feel like Audio Slave is probably my easiest and most impressive song, and plus I really like that song.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Let's see, I can start. on a cold afternoon in a room full of emptiness, like a freeway. I was blessed in the pages of a book full of death that we have to die alone. And if we're good, we'll lay to rest anywhere we want to go. In your house, I long to be. My own patiently, I wait for you there, like a stone. I wait for you there alone.
I love that. That was really great. And I love that song too.
Yeah, that song.
Yeah, yeah. And you have a great voice for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so cool. So we had you do that this week in the episode that came out. Madeline Blair read her poetry, and that was really cool. And then we had another person, Emily is saying, our producer Emily is saying that she's a fangirl for life of you now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah. And then we had a piano player, Mary Muse, play piano for our show. And I love that people are sharing their talents. It's so cool. But thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
So we like to end every show with 3 questions. So the first one is, what are you reading now?
I am reading. Let me make sure I get the name of this right, because I'm in a book club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with some people that I volunteer with. And it's not an activism book.
Well, you volunteer too?
I volunteer outside of sexual things. I volunteer with other things. I'm in a group that's everybody in Denton County that's an organizer, has organizing experience, and we all work together to do all kinds of projects to get done. It's mostly unhoused distribution. So like food, I do a meal. I cook the meal usually.
Oh, wow. That's neat. And reading, you all have a book club together?
There's some of us that started, one of us started a book club and we all joined it. The 5th season by N.K. Jemisin.
What is that?
It's a sci-fi book. The author is a Black author. And the tagline is, every age must come to an end.
Is it good?
Yes, it's free right now on Kindle Unlimited, because we like to pick stuff that's accessible to everybody.
Oh, so nice. Yeah.
If people want to support a Black author and read it's really good so far anyway. Yeah. The 5th season.
Nice. Okay. And what are you listening to?
When I'm not listening to the new Meg the Stallion and Glorilla single, because that's been just like in my ear like an earworm lately. But outside of that, right now, because I have a vinyl player and you can put like a vinyl in the front that you're listening to.
Oh, cool.
And I'm forever listening to the best of Sade on vinyl.
Aww, very sexy.
Don't judge me.
No, I'm not judging.
I'm in my auntie era.
And what are you excited about?
I am excited for 2 things. I'm excited about Exotica this weekend. Because I get to see Phoenix and we don't always get to see each other.
Oh, in Chicago? Are you going to Chicago? Oh, nice.
And I am excited.
I love Phoenix. Phoenix was just on the show 2 weeks ago, last week.
That is my road dog, man. That's my road dog. I'm excited about XBiz in Miami because I'm speaking at a disability panel.
Oh, that's cool. I was going to go and then I decided to not go. And I've been like every year for the last. Yes.
No.
I know. I wanted to go and then I decided that I wanted to hang out with PJ without all of the people. So we rented this little like apartment in West Virginia to just like chill for the week. So I think
okay, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it looks very cute too. So I'm like, we got a babysitter so we could go to XBiz, and we've gone like, I think the last 7 years. And then we were like, you know what if we just hung out together?
Yeah, what if you did something together? Yeah, I'm going by myself. I'm romantically single.
Okay.
So it's gonna be me and my suitcases, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So who's on the disability panel with you?
There's some people that I don't know yet, because I know that there were a bunch of us who wanted to be on it through the XBiz forums. That's where I found out about it, because those are popping and people don't go on there and check out those forums.
I have one and I haven't been on it in a while. I should go check out what's happening.
There's decent opportunities and things happening, or people answering questions. Sometimes it's tech advice. It's a decent place. At least make it a one stop for once a week for sure. Okay.
I never think to go there, but I should go check out what's happening over there.
Mm-hmm. It's worth it. It is.
Yeah. xbiz.net, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good advice to anybody, especially like newer people in the industry, to figure out like what's going on. And
especially if they don't already have an XBiz account, or they don't keep up with XBiz, it's worth it too. Because as far as like having a neutral place, that's like the conference I can kind of look forward to.
Yeah.
Because it's less fan focused.
Right. It's become so busy though. So I remember XBiz Miami back in the day where it was like 100 performers and people were hanging out at the pool, and it was very welcoming and lovely. It is bonkers now. It is so crowded. And
the after parties are like, and I looked at I'm staying
as an introvert, it's just like too much for me now. I was like, I remember, like, I sound like such an old person. Nope. I remember back in the day when it was like 100 of us and it was so fun. And now I'm like, listen, I can't. This thing is, people are waiting in line for 4 hours to register. Like, it was so crazy.
I'm an agoraphobic hooker, so I barely like going out.
I know. Yeah. So it's a lot now. And everything is busy, and the pool parties are insane, like with just so crowded. I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, I'm kind of like there on like my little like business gig and business tip. I know a lot of people take that opportunity to like filming because everybody's around, but I honestly would rather make connections with someone and plan filming later at a later time and a later date to fly out and be intentional than to film at a hotel at XBiz. Like, no shade if that's your like if that's your gig, you know what I'm saying? But for me,
I have done that in the past, but it's also exhausting if you go there.
It's exhausting. Like, you're tired.
Okay, I have to go to all of these panels, and then I have 5 different scenes with 5 different people. And it's just a lot. It's a lot going on.
And people talk about the avian flu, and that's just that's why, because it's not about like exposing yourself to all you're run down. You are so done by the time that and like, I'm disabled. Like, I can only do so much. Yeah. And like being able to like, you want me to like film a billion things? Like, I might be able to commit to filming like one thing.
Yeah. Let's be realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like one thing. And that's a big maybe on that one thing.
Right. And I've seen people complain about people flaking out on collaborations, and that does suck if you go there planning it. But I'm also like, I get it, because you're like ambitious, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even do this well right now. There's too much.
No, or I might get another opportunity, because let's say I have a collab, you know, at 2 p.m., you know, but before, 2 hours before that, I'm standing in line and I meet somebody and they're the president of so-and-so company, and they want to have lunch with me and talk to me about this business opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk business with this person. Yeah. Because this is longevity on my paper. And it's like, I don't care who the person is I'm supposed to be filming with. You know, they could be great. They could be awesome. Yeah. They probably are. But like, I also want to leave myself open to opportunities.
Right. Like, otherwise, why go? Yeah.
Because it's networking more than anything else. It's networking. And I want to be able to do that part. Like, I'm coming with my business cards, like, like with my activism business cards and like my other business cards. Like, we're here to actually talk to each other.
Right. So what are you doing are you doing something at Exotica? I haven't been to Exotica in many, many years.
It's going to be my first Exotica.
I went to the Exotica that they kicked Ron Jeremy out of. He wasn't supposed to be there.
No, smells like banned.
Yeah, he showed up. He took over a panel of cam models that I was watching. Like he walked in, like he owned the place. And then there was like people, like this was in the like, I don't know, this must have been 15 or 16. It was like earlier days of camming. And there was a panel of all these independent creators talking. And Ron Jeremy is not an independent creator. He like walked in, took the mic, started talking as if it was his panel. And it was so weird. And then later, like everybody was complaining about harassment and then he got banned. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
What? Get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing
I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm kind of newer to the industry and I'm like, that's Ron and Jeremy. And
I'm always a little like
dick.
trepidatious because like Exotica is different than AVNs.
Yeah.
But it's similar feeling and fashion because it is a fan event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, that was my thing when I was at AVNs that, you know, and with a VIP pass, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that I'm around other performers, other sex workers, but then I'm talking to somebody and then I find out that they're not a performer or a sex worker or a producer. They're not in the industry at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a fan of what we do. And it's like, why are you at the after party for the fucking photos for the red carpet?
Yeah.
Why are you here for this?
Yeah.
You didn't walk the red carpet. Why are you at the open bar red carpet after party?
Yeah.
Because you have a VIP bat?
Because you spent money.
Because you spent money. And I'm like, okay, AVNs, what if there was a room where they could be in?
Yeah.
And there was a room that we could be in, though.
Yeah.
And it was just us.
There's some weird stuff that happens at AVN, though. Like I was on the red carpet next to some trans performers one time, and the guards were so bad to them, like telling them that their outfit, I'm trying to remember exactly what was going on, but there was something about their outfits and and then the bathrooms like weren't set, like they weren't all gender bath. It was a mess one year when I was there, and the hotel people were being, with their security guards, were being openly hostile to the trans performers that were there. And it was, there's still some problems.
Yeah. They put me in a seat that wasn't handicap accessible, and I had to waddle down to the seat with the railing, and I couldn't have my rollator, and I was stuck in my seat, and I had to wait for them after the show to bring it to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I'm like, why couldn't you put me on the floor? There were hella handicap seats on the orchestra floor, which would have been like, because I was 1, 2, 3. And that's like the top orchestra, bottom orchestra, walking area. I'm like, just put me in the back row.
Yeah.
I look nice. I'm dressed nice.
Right.
So it's not like, you know,
I'm
not going to make anybody look bad by existing here.
Right. And it's not like there's so many people who need.
I was looking at empty handicap spots where I could have rolled my rollator in there and sat.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible. Yeah. On that note, where can people find you and your work?
They can find me, of course, on Twitter, or I'm not calling it that. They can find me on Twitter.
Yeah.
BodyxBlunts. Or if they want to go to the page where it's the most active and the most sexy, it's BodyxBlunts.
Okay.
So still bi, but like cuts of wood. BodyxBlunts. Or BodyxBlunts.com, and you can find all of the links. Or Instagram. I'm on all of the lovely sites, a Pornhub, a ManyVids. I'm not on OnlyFans.
Oh, you're not? You left OnlyFans?
I left OnlyFans. I divested.
Yeah. I'm not on. I don't have content anymore, but yeah, I got tired of OnlyFans.
They've done too many things, and they don't help us enough, and they get rid of us if it meant their bottom line. So no.
Well, they did. It, that was funny when they were like, no more porn. And then like 3 days later, they were like, oh shit.
Just kidding.
You guys can come back.
Yeah,
you can all come back after like everybody lost all of their like subs, and what a mess.
I lost like all of mine.
Yeah.
In a weekend.
Yeah. it's fucked
They're
up.
so cool. But they can find me all those other places, or if they want to check out the show, it's gbdenton.com. That's G as in gamma, B as in beta, DENTON.com. You can find us on Instagram, and that's glitterbombdenton. And you can see all the things we're about, see our show, check out our performers. And if you're in DFW, you can come out to a show. And those tickets are only $10. We have accessibility seating, sensory seating if you don't want to be too overwhelmed. And of course, ASL seating so you can have clear view of the interpreter.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of When We're Not Hustling. I'm your host, Jessie Sage. You can find me on Twitter at sapiotextual or visit my website at jessiesage.com. The show was produced by Emily Foster. The music is by Benjamin J. Benamati. Our intern is Anna Fisher. You can follow us on socials on Instagram and Twitter at Not Hustling Pod. Signing off. Have a great week.